In Genoa City, no relationship ever comes without turbulence, but there are some alliances so volatile that when they combust, the fallout can rock the town to its core. Joshua Morrow, who has embodied Nicholas Newman for nearly 3 decades, recently hinted at a chilling possibility. What if Phyllis Summers, once Nick's lover, confidant, and partner in crime, became his full-blown enemy? The mere suggestion rattled longtime fans, because the relationship between Nick and Phyllis has always teetered on a knife's edge. Whether they were burning with passion, feuding over betrayal, or reluctantly teaming up against a common foe, Fic has been defined by intensity. Now, as Genoa City braces for a new storm, the potential unraveling of their fragile peace threatens not just their lives, but the lives of everyone around them. A history written in fire. Phyllis and Nick's history is as much about destruction as it is about desire. Their first affair, back when Nick was married to Sharon, was a scandal so infamous it still echoes in hushed whispers at Crimson Lights. From that illicit spark came years of push-and-pull romance, a shared daughter in Summer, and a pattern of reunion and heartbreak that defined an era of the young and the restless. But Morrow's warning, that Phyllis could one day wield her sharp intelligence and unrelenting drive against Nick, raises an unsettling question. If she's capable of burning bridges with Jack, Diane, Victor, and even her own children, what would happen if she turned all that fury on Nick? Why, the timing couldn't be worse. Right now, Nick is stretched thin. His loyalty to Sharon has him helping run Kirsten Incorporated. His concern for Victoria means he's entangled in Newman drama whether he wants to be or not. And his protective instincts over Summer often put him at odds with her choices. Phyllis, meanwhile, is in one of her more precarious positions. Having cheated death, literally, by faking her own demise and framing Diane, she's been walking on a tightrope of redemption. Though Summer has cautiously allowed her back into her orbit, trust is fragile, and the rest of Genoa City eyes her with skepticism. If Nick were to turn on Phyllis now, or worse, if she decided he was her enemy, the cracks in her foundation could shatter completely. What an all-out Phyllis versus Nick war would look like. Imagine the battlefield. Nick, with Newman resources at his disposal, a sharp sense of morality, though sometimes hypocritical, and the loyalty of family and friends. Phyllis, the red-headed firecracker, master manipulator, hacker extraordinaire, and one of the most cunning strategists Genoa City has ever seen. It wouldn't be a simple lover's quarrel. It would be a cold war played out in boardrooms, courtrooms, and living rooms alike. Phyllis could go after Sharon's business to wound Nick. She could exploit Newman family secrets for leverage. She could even manipulate Summer into choosing sides, something Nick would never forgive. The collateral damage would be staggering. Summer torn apart, Daniel forced into another impossible choice, Jack once again pulled into Phyllis's orbit, and Victor Newman sharpening his claws to ensure his son doesn't falter under pressure. The Joshua Morrow tease. When Morrow recently teased this idea, it wasn't casual. He emphasized that Nick and Phyllis's relationship, for all its volatility, has always carried an undercurrent of understanding. They know each other's worst, he hinted, but what happens if that worst is weaponized? That question haunts the storyline. Phyllis knows Nick's vulnerabilities better than anyone, his guilt over Cassie's death, his tendency to play savior, his struggle to reconcile being both a Newman and his own man. To use those weaknesses against him would be devastating. And yet, Phyllis, when cornered, has never hesitated to go for the jugular. Could this be the end of Fic? The Fic dynamic has always thrived on the idea that, no matter what, passion would bring them back together. Fans root for them because of their undeniable chemistry, their shared love for Summer, and their ability to forgive when no one else would. But if Phyllis were to truly cross that line, if she betrayed Nick in a way he couldn't excuse, it could mark the end of their story, not as lovers or friends, but as allies. That would rewrite decades of history. And in Genoa City, rewriting history usually means devastating consequences. Potential fallout in Genoa City. If Phyllis and Nick combust, the ripple effects would be enormous. Summer, her loyalty to her mother has always been shaky, and she leans heavily on her father. If forced to choose, She might finally cut ties with Phyllis for good. That could push Phyllis into dangerous isolation. Daniel, already skeptical of Phyllis's choices, he could align with Nick, further fracturing their family unit. Jack Abbott. Jack has always had a soft spot for Phyllis, but if she wages war against Nick, Jack could find himself forced to protect the Newman family instead of enabling her schemes. Sharon. Sharon might unexpectedly benefit, with Nick turning to her for comfort. But as always with Sharon and Nick, the deeper he leans, the more complicated things become. Victor. The Newman patriarch relishes control. A Phyllis versus Nick feud would give him the perfect excuse to tighten his grip on his son, pulling Nick further into the Newman web. The emotional core. At the heart of this tease storyline isn't just destruction. It's heartbreak. Because Nick and Phyllis, for all their flaws, have always loved each other in their own way. The idea of that love curdling into venom is what makes the possibility so devastating. It's not just about schemes and power plays. It's about two people who once shared everything now tearing each other apart. For Nick, it would mean losing one of the few people who truly sees him outside of Victor's shadow. For Phyllis, it would mean alienating the man who, despite everything, believed in her when no one else would. Where this could lead. If Morrow's tease is setting up the next chapter, Genoa City may soon witness a storyline where the audience is forced to pick a side. Do they root for Phyllis, the fiery survivor, clawing for dignity in a world that constantly underestimates her? Or for Nick, the moral compass struggling to protect his loved ones from someone he once adored? It's the kind of Shakespearean tragedy that the young and the restless thrives on, love transforming into hate, passion into vengeance, devotion into betrayal.